Chief Engineer Brex's personal log, stardate 55310.5. We returned to Starbase 12, and Admiral Liu informed us that the entire Dauntless crew is being transferred to the Sovereign. Getting a Sovereign-class ship, that's a huge leap for a fourth assignment. Only Commander LaForge has had the luxury of tinkering with this design. Until now. The ship itself is wondrous, but it took me a year and a half to get the Dauntless running like I wanted. I'm just getting started with the Sovereign. But, as the legendary Montgomery Scott once said, there's nothing like the impossible to bolster one's miraculous reputation.
Captain on the bridge. Sir, we've completed the first pass of all ship essential systems. There are quite a few loose screws, as Chief Brex put it.
Loose screws, nuts, and bolts, Commander.
Incoming message from Admiral Liu. On screen.
Greetings, Captain, and congratulations on your new command. I see you've already settled in. Because of your outstanding service, you and your crew have been selected to lead the investigation into the destruction of Vesuvi. You've been given command of the Sovereign to help in this task. Treat her well. The Sovereign is a fine ship, the first in her class. We refitted her after 5 years in mothballs and commissioned her for this assignment. The Sovereign was a prototype ship, fitted with an experimental shield system which failed during initial field tests. Before you begin, you'll need to take your new ship out on a shakedown cruise. It will give us an opportunity to work out any bugs in the enhanced deflector dish, upgraded sensor palettes, and her regenerative shield system. The Sovereign is equipped with more powerful quantum torpedoes, in addition to the standard photons. Use these sparingly, Captain, as Starbase 12 will be unable to resupply your quantums until a shipment arrives from Earth. Commander Larson has your checklist for the shakedown. I believe you will find it an adequate test of your systems. When you've completed your cruise, return to Starbase 12. Take good care of the Sovereign, Captain. She's a lot of ship, but I'm confident you can handle her. Liu out.
I have our checklist, Captain. Running startup sequence now.
Main systems powering up, Captain.
Impulse and warp engines online.
Main deflector and sensor subsystems online.
Weapons and targeting systems online.
We are being hailed. On screen.
Sovereign, you're cleared to leave for your shakedown cruise.
Ready to leave space dock on your orders.
Take us out, Ensign. 1/4 impulse.
Aye aye, Commander. Ahead 1/4 impulse. We have cleared space doors.
Our first item is testing the warp drive. We should plot a course for Savoy 1.
Welcome back to Bridge, Commander, guys, and yep, they gave me a Sovereign class ship, and she's gorgeous. I absolutely love the Sovereign class ship, and not just because of what it is. In terms of the advanced technology, I just love the way this thing looks. Anyone goes back to First Contact and sees the Enterprise E just swooping into view. Absolutely gorgeous ship. But let's... hang on, we're shaking. What the hell? Ugh.
We've arrived in the Savoy system.
Just a bit shaken.
That ride was a little rough, Chief. Can you do anything about it?
I think so, Commander. It's the inertial dampeners. One of our graviton generators is operating at 20 millicochrans less than the standard IDF system output. I'll run a diagnostic on it later to track down the problem. I'll be down in main engineering bringing another generator online to compensate. The ride should be much smoother next time.
Great, well I guess we are finding out why the Sovereign class starship wasn't immediately thrown into service when it was available. The Sovereign's got quite a colourful history apparently, considering not much of it's been mentioned on screen, but the vast majority of it's basically about how once it was known that the Borg were around, Starfleet started pouring resources into more advanced ships like the Sovereign and the Defiant obviously as well. But basically the Sovereign, kind of like the Defiant, was just had too much tech and was too powerful for its own good, so ended up constantly getting mothballed.
We've arrived at Savoy 1, Captain.
Are we clear to test the tactical systems now?
The weapon systems are the next item on our checklist, Lieutenant, but let's follow procedure, shall we? Mr. Diaz, sensors online. Has the phaser range target been towed to its position?
Yes, Commander.
Captain, we should test our sensors by scanning asteroid Amagon for compositional analysis.
Initiating scan. The asteroid is comprised of some nickel and something else.
Something else? Hardly a scientific appraisal.
I can't tell, Commander. The nickel easily stands out, but the sensors are having trouble identifying the rest of the asteroid's composition. It's like all my readings are being bounced back at me.
Intercept
Ensign,
course
hail Chief
plotted.
Rex in engineering.
On screen.
Yes, Commander?
Chief, we're experiencing problems with the sensors.
I know. I think it's the enhanced deflector.
Doesn't enhanced usually mean better?
It is better in most respects. It has upgraded EM scanners, both wide and narrow angle. The gravimetric distortion package has been updated with the latest imaging data available.
Results, please, Chief.
I'll boost the warp core intermix ratios to generate more power to make full use of the enhanced deflector and the lateral sensor palettes.
Much better. The imaging is clearing up. I'm reading 45% nickel, 22% uranium composite, 13% iron, and 20% ice.
Sounds like we've got our sensors working. Captain, the range is ours. Red alert, shields up. We should commence phaser testing. When we hit the asteroid, Savoy Station will send us telemetry we can use to align the targeting systems.
Rex, what's going on with my phasers? All the arrays are firing randomly.
I'm working on it. Just keep firing so I can trace the problem.
You give me a duff ship, Starfleet.
I got it. The problem's localized in the phaser function command processor. The rewritable symbolic code algorithms aren't calculating the proper targeting vectors. I'll have to overwrite the old command algorithms and replace them with new ones. That should do it.
Shall we move on to the next item on our checklist? We're scheduled to test quantum torpedoes and regenerative shields next.
Loading quantum torpedoes, sir. Captain, I have another vessel on an intercept course. It's the Geronimo.
Incoming message from the Geronimo, sir.
Open a channel, Ensign.
Aye, sir. On screen.
Greetings, Commander. Oh, I mean Captain. I'm Captain Gregory McRae. It looks like we're just in time.
On time? I'm sorry, Captain McRae. I'm not sure what you mean.
For your tactical systems tests. We could help you out with a wee exercise for both our crews.
Just what exercise did you have in mind?
You can't expect to test those systems properly on a few floating rocks. What you need is a moving target, one that'll bite you back.
Is that a challenge, Captain McRae?
Aye, Commander. That would be the proper term for it, a challenge. So what you say to a little friendly war game?
I'm not sure what the correct protocol is here, Captain, but we're ready if you want to take on the Geronimo.
Excellent, Captain. I'll have my tactical officer switch to simulation mode immediately. Shall we begin?
That's fine, Captain McRae. We'll be ready for you. Felix, switch to tactical simulation
Sir, we are
mode.
not yet ready to engage. Aye, Commander. Simulation mode activated.
Entering combat simulation. Weapons are set to 1/1000th power. Loading dummy Mark IV torpedo casings.
Ready to engage, sir.
Well, you're gonna regret that, Mister May. You'll notice I've switched to quantum torpedoes. That's because this is simulation mode and these quantum torpedoes aren't real, so I can just smash them into the Akira class Geronimo and all is well. The other thing that you will notice with the Sovereign is that this ship is so much more maneuverable than the Galaxy class ship. It is absolutely beautiful. And you notice that even though the Akira is a lot more maneuverable than me, I can at least stay with it, and that means that I can literally just sit behind it and pour these quantum torpedoes into its torpedo tubes is where I'm aiming, because the Akira's firepower is mainly located in its torpedo tubes, With Bridge Commander, it seems like they kind of went for the idea of the original creator, where the Akira just has monstrous torpedo firepower. It has the same torpedo firepower from what I'm aware on this game as a Sovi. So that is, you know, that is some pretty serious firepower for a ship of its size. So it is very dangerous. But obviously the Sovi is the Sovi can take an awful lot more damage with its regenerative shields and is not quite as maneuverable. The Geronimo is certainly able to dance rings around it with a really competent part, but just the sheer firepower and tankiness of the Sovereign is enough for it to be a pretty superior ship. But targeting the torpedoes, as you can see, has really helped it. I've not done much rotation, but that's because the Akira doesn't really have a
Sir, we are not yet ready to engage.
The Geronimo has been destroyed. Ending simulation.
A good match, Captain. Try to remember it takes more than a big gun to win a shootout. Experience and skill will always triumph.
2 Klingon birds of prey decloaking dead ahead. One of them appears to be Captain Draxon's ship, the Rankoof.
Their weapons are set to simulation mode as well.
Is this part of the exercise?
Sir, message from the Klingons. Intercept course plotted.
Allies, we could not resist the opportunity to join your brave games. Let us dispense with the formalities and test our true mettle under fire.
Well then, this ought to even the odds a bit.
No problem. The more the merrier.
Stow it, Chief. Just keep everything in proper order and record the amount of simulated damage we do to those ships.
Aye, Commander. Entering combat simulation. Weapons are set to 1/1000th power. Loading dummy Mark IV torpedo casings.
Ready to engage, sir.
Okay, well, stuff just got real in a big-time hurry. The birds of prey are seriously dangerous, as well as the Akira-class ship. These things have really good firepower when facing forward. You'll notice that they're already beginning to burn through my bottom shield a little bit. But this is one where you just have to keep your momentum up, your speed up really high, and hope to try and latch onto one of the ships, preferably the Rankoof, because I believe all you need to do is destroy the Rankoof in order to win this. But that's easier said than done, because the Rankoof moves at a very seriously high speed, and you know, you've got disruptors, phasers, quantum torpedoes coming in from all sides. This is really a mess. But fortunately, the Rankoof tried to cloak there, and I got some shots in on it when it was decloaked. I should be rotating towards my top shield now because my bottom shield's knackered. Tractor beam is an attempt here to try and slow the Rankoof down so I can wallop it with my quantum torpedoes, but I've not got a good shot there, unfortunately. I dragged it in too close. I am trying to keep my ship moving. There you go. You can actually see me tilting the ship down a little bit there to try and take some impacts on the top shield, which is still working. My hull is getting battered, though. It's hard to maneuver around 3 ships. You can't really... Wow, my hull took a beating there. I think that some torpedoes got through. So this is pretty much my last shot. I'm aiming for the warp core and the underneath of the ship. Oh, well, that didn't work too well. So, while my rear torpedoes have been destroyed, now this is going badly. Take it on the top shield. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that hit the aft shield. No, I'm still okay. Can you please get my forward quantum torpedoes back online so that I can get one shot in? I should only need one shot. The Rankoof shields are really weak at this point. Unfortunately, they're not the most competent at hitting. Come on, I need those quantum torpedoes. There we go, they're online. Well, tractor beam on. This is my last shot. Wowza.
The Rankoof has reported sufficient simulated hull breaches to warrant destruction. Ending simulation.
Incoming message from the Klingons.
Captain, I salute you. Your ship and crew fight well. So, the rumors are true. Starfleet does have warriors in its ranks. It has been an honor, Captain. Perhaps we will meet again on the field of battle. Now I must return to my duties. Qapla'!
The Klingon ships have left the system.
That's a hell of a way to test a new ship at the end of its shakedown cruise.
Ensign, open a channel. Captain McCrae, what's your status?
All's well, Sovereign. That was a good bit of fighting. I'll see you back at the starbase.
Yeah, you better go back to the starbase and lick your wounds, McCrae. You took a beating.
That completes our checklist, Captain. The Sovereign is an incredible ship, and the crew performed admirably. You should be proud. I will relay our current status to Starfleet Command.
Incoming message from Starfleet. On screen.
Greetings, Captain. I see from your first officer's report that everything on the Sovereign is in working order. The relief efforts in the Vesuvi system are still proceeding. Now that our people are safe, we've sent in a science vessel to try to determine what caused the solar pulse. The USS Berkeley, under command of Captain Elizabeth Haley, is leading the investigation with the help of Commander Data from the Enterprise. Because of extremely high radiation levels, they've been having difficulty in penetrating the residual gas clouds. The more powerful shielding on the Sovereign will be helpful in the investigation. Commander Data will join you to assist the science team in the search for the cause of the incident. Rendezvous with the Berkeley in the Vesuvi system. Once Commander Data is on board, he will give you further instructions. Liu out.
So yes, I guess this is before Nemesis because Commander Data's still alive.
Yellow alert.
But wow, the Sovereign is an amazing ship. And this is something that you kind of get the idea of how much of a difference the Sovereign class ship is over a Galaxy class starship. It's like just the amount of damage it can take and the you know, the sheer amount of damage it can take and the amount of damage it can dish out as well. According to some sources, the Sovereign basically has phasers mounted on a starbase as well, so these things are incredible.
We've arrived in the Vesuvi system, sir.
Sir, I'm reading a Romulan warbird on the other side of the planet. It looks like she's preparing to warp.
Track its course.
Aye, Commander. One moment. The warbird is heading to the Vesuvi dust cloud.
That's the same way we're going. Let's follow.
Course laid in for the dust cloud. Yes, Captain? Aye, Captain.
I don't like the idea of Romulans just warping around in front of me. I would like to see the Mogai warbird in this game, something like was in Star Trek Nemesis. That'd be really cool to see.
We've arrived at the outer edge of the dust cloud, sir.
There's no sign of the warbird.
The USS Berkeley is nearby. Shall I hail them? Captain? Channel open.
Greetings, Captain. I'm Elizabeth Haley, Captain of the Berkeley. I'm glad you're here. Commander Data is prepared to beam over.
Lowering shields for transport. Commander Data has beamed aboard, sir.
It's been frustrating trying to wade through the dense cloud of radiation and dust left from the Vesuvi event. I'm sure you'll have greater success with your newly enhanced deflector and sensor palettes. This star gave every indication it was going to last another 10 billion years. We hoped that by scanning some of the ejected surface debris from the face of the star, we might be able to piece together what happened. I believe Commander Data can elaborate.
Yes, I can. We managed to triangulate possible locations of the star's debris, but were unable to get close enough to scan the dust cloud with any success.
Welcome aboard, Commander. Have a seat.
Thank you. To continue. As we went deeper into the cloud, radiation levels increased and were a constant drain on the shields. After 3 attempts, the Berkeley fell back to its current position and contacted Starfleet for a ship with stronger shielding.
We're hoping the Sovereign can get in there and collect the information we need to further our studies.
Chief, what do you think?
Well, it'll definitely be a balancing act, Commander. The radiation will be a significant drain on the Sovereign's shields, but I think I can buy us enough time to scan for the star's debris.
Great. We're transmitting the information we've already gathered to you now. I'm confident you and Commander Data will be able to finish the job.
Thank you, Captain. I'm receiving the data now.
I look forward to seeing your results. We'll see you when you get back. Haley out.
I have isolated 4 regions of the dust cloud that might contain stellar debris from the face of the star. They are entered into the con.
Confirmed. Courses to 4 nav points have been plotted. We can go to any of these points to begin our search.
Then we're set. Shall we head in, Captain?
Yes, let's. Let's use our awesome ship and our awesome shields.
Yes, sir.
Now, one thing I did mention was the Mogai Warbird and various ships that I've mentioned, like the Defiant, etc. in this. The modding community for Star Trek British Commander has produced those ships for what I believe is in the Kobayashi Maru mod. There's also a couple of other mods like that. If you do want to see some of that in action, I might do some of it in action, but additionally, one of my subscribers, Sovereign0001, he has a Let's Play using the Kobayashi Maru mod. So, you know, if you want to see some of that in action, by all means, have a look at his channel, have a look at his LP. And for the sake of this one, I'll continue unmodded, because I tend to not mod my games until I've at least played through them, unless the mod is, unless the mod is stabilizing the game or like making the game better, then I will, then I'll use that. So we're just in the nebula scanning away at the debris using the Sovereign's enhanced deflector. It is just amazing how much of a massive leap forward the Sovereign is, but I guess that's why there aren't that many of them.
Our scanners are reading the stellar matter's composition. High levels of hydrogen and some helium, but very little iron or other heavy elements.
Captain, we have located the stellar debris from the Vesuvius star, as we suspected. Supernovas occur naturally when the heavier elements created by solar fusion suffocate the reactions in a star. The resulting solar pulse was created by bringing the star to the threshold of collapse. This event had to have been caused by an outside force. Once we return to the Berkeley, I can run advanced simulations on the information we have gathered and create a profile of what might have occurred.
Sir, we're receiving an emergency distress call from the Berkeley. The transmission is pretty garbled, but I think I can clean it up a bit.
Unknown vessels are disabled and we have sustained heavy damage. Please assist. Message repeats. Mayday, Mayday. This is the USS Berkeley to all. We are under attack from unknown vessels.
The Berkeley is not a combat vessel, Captain. I recommend we return to our position immediately.
Do we have everything we need, Mr. Diaz?
Affirmative, Commander. All readings have been catalogued.
Your orders, Captain.
Yes. Well, we better get back there quickly, because the Berkeley is a Nebula-class starship, and the Nebula is a little bit of a weird one, because it seems to have multiple different forms, like the medical ship, which is the Berkeley or science ship, but it can also be a tactical ship as well, where the sort of pod on it can be converted to a weapons pod or something like that. So, you know, it seems to be one of the ships in Starfleet that has multiple different forms depending on what type of, ship they want it to be. So, you know, it was supposed to be, I believe, like a more compact Galaxy-class ship with a little bit more variability.
You're being hailed. On screen.
Sovereign, thank heaven you came back. You must have frightened off whoever attacked us.
Can you identify
the
the attacker, Captain Haley?
Negative, Commander. The radiation and dust completely blocked them from our sensors. There was no sign of their approach until they were on us. We're operating on emergency power, and our long-range communications are offline. You'll have to notify Starfleet of our situation.
Why would anyone attack a lightly armed science vessel?
To frighten it away from the area, perhaps. It could be there is something here someone does not want us to find.
Then why not attack us? We were closer to the core.
To draw the Sovereign back here, away from the stellar debris. I surmise the information we gathered will prove very useful in solving this mystery.
Sir, we should contact Starfleet and inform them of the Berkeley situation. Captain, reporting our status to Starfleet. One moment. Admiral Liu is responding.
Captain, I've received the data on the stellar material you found and assigned a team to analyze it. The Federation is most disturbed by your discovery. The fact that the Vesuvi star did not come to its end by natural causes is a matter of utmost concern. I've been given assurances that the Federation is putting the highest priority into the research of your data. I'll keep you apprised. I've sent a recovery team to assist the Berkeley. If you feel she can hold out till their arrival, I want you to track down the attackers. An unprovoked attack on a Federation science vessel is a serious matter and must not go unanswered. We cannot allow others to assault our ships at will. Use whatever means necessary, Captain. I leave the matter in your hands. Contact me when you have some significant information. Liu out.
Sensors indicate the unknown vessel entered the dust cloud. Its engines have left trace subspace distortion pockets in their wake. I have plotted a new waypoint into the con.
Hailing frequencies open.
New craft entering the area. It's the relief vessel that will take the Berkeley home.
Very well. Captain, now that the Nightingale has arrived, we can begin the hunt for their attacker.
On screen.
Thank you, Captain. Proceed with your mission. The Nightingale can take care of us from here.
Boy oh boy, that ship took an absolute beating in the time that we were gone. It's like that ship's almost in pieces. But that's one thing that I love when the Sovereign turns around. You know, you can see it looks like it's swooping rather than the Galaxy, which looks like it's loafing. I mean, this isn't to say that I'm hating on the Galaxy class ship. I do like the overall view, and TNG for me, you know, between TNG and DS9 for which one's the best, depending on what sort of thing you want to watch. However, you know, the one thing I do regret sort of is definitely when the Dominion War came out, you didn't see Sovereign class ships, but it has actually been. I'll come back to this point in a bit.
Scanners indicate a small object or device ahead of us, Captain. It's a configuration I'm unfamiliar with.
It appears to be a probe of some sort. Perhaps we should scan it. Initiating scan.
The energy signature is building exponentially. I believe a self-destruct sequence has been activated.
The probe has been destroyed.
Any ideas as to what it was doing here?
Perhaps an intelligence probe, left to gather information about us. The probe was composed mostly of silicate, which is uncommon to say the least.
It is also possible another race is investigating the recent occurrences in the Vesuvi system, just as we are.
There isn't much we can do about it now. We can't be distracted from our mission.
Based on readings from this region, I have plotted the possible destination of the unknown vessel that attacked the Berkeley.
I've added the new coordinates to the con, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, that's not suspicious at all. But anyway, as I was getting back to my point, I am actually a bit of a history buff, as it were. And it has been certainly true in the old days of warfare that you'd often make a weapon in the hope that you'd never use it. Obviously, nuclear weapons would be the idea today, but things like dreadnought battleships were built during the First World War and then just never used because they were too valuable to lose, and the Sovereign could fall under that category.
I am no longer detecting any sign of the alien ship. I am sorry, Captain, but I lost the trail.
Wait a minute. I'm detecting the remains of a ship. It appears to be what's left of a Romulan warbird.
No doubt the same ship that attacked the Berkeley did this as well. It must have been a powerful ship to destroy a Romulan warbird.
Initiating scan.
2 Romulan warbirds have just exited warp. They are powering weapons.
We're receiving a message from the Romulans. On screen.
Nothing new, sir.
This is Captain Terek of the Romulan Empire. So, the Federation now destroys ships and whole systems to stop anyone who dares challenge its rule.
We are not the aggressors here, Captain. We are as baffled by these attacks as you are.
Save your lies and prepare yourself for destruction.
Okay then, mister, you're going to find out exactly what you're up against. Now, we mentioned that a Warbird versus a Galaxy-class starship would probably be about an even fight. A Warbird versus a Sovereign-class starship is a curb stomp. So, come to that. Like I said, the Galaxy could probably dance rings around the Romulan Warbirds. Well, a Sovereign-class ship can definitely do that. Additionally, the Sovi can also tank a lot more of the Warbirds' firepower. Now, Data there is mentioning that we could head back towards the dust cloud and obscure their sensors. To be honest, the Sovi is capable of handling itself here without really worrying too much about the dust cloud. The dust cloud can make it more difficult. It also means that if you turn your sensors up to maximum and the Romulans cloak, you might be able to get a good look at them and at least fire at that area. Yeah, I'm not being very clever here. I should increase power to the engine so I can get out of the firing arc of their disruptors. You can see their torpedoes ain't getting anywhere near me for the most part because they're slow travelling torpedoes, and by the time they've got any sort of lock at range, I can get out of the way of them. And they're spraying disruptor all over the place as well, but as long as you keep moving in this fight, the Warbirds can't really get a good lock on you. And if they can't get a good shot at you, then you can just take them apart at will. A Warbird's main strength in this game is that it has a ridiculously strong hull. But if you can break through its shields, and its shields aren't exactly massively strong, and take out its disruptor cannons, which is what I'm aiming to do here, then the Warbird will lose the vast majority of its threat. So, and also you might get as you can see here, I'm actually getting cheap shots on the warp engines as well. So, you just do more and more, you can just burn through more and more damage to them. As long as you keep moving at this high speed. You can see that, the Warbird's a heffalump really. There's no real, it can't really move at a decent pace. So with me keeping behind it, or at least trying to keep behind it and take out all its weapon systems, it's really not a, this really isn't that difficult of a fight. And because I'm keeping my focus on one Warbird and I'm keeping moving, the other Warbird can't really get a good shot at me. And I believe the Warbird's disruptors are all gone, and that should be the end of this.
Impressive, Captain. It's seldom any one vessel defeats a flight of Warbirds. The next time we meet, Captain, you will not be so fortunate.
We should inform Starfleet of our encounter with the Romulans.
Yes, Captain?
Your orders, Captain? I've informed Admiral Liu of our progress. She's responding.
I'm disappointed by your inability to find the Berkeley's attackers, but I'm sure you did your best. However, I'm very impressed with your handling of the encounter with the Romulans, Captain. It is a testament to the skills of you and your crew that you were able to survive an encounter with a superior Romulan force. There were people who said I was unwise to give you the Sovereign, Captain. Those
Main
voices
power is
are
at 50%.
silent now. Your encounter with the Romulans is most disturbing. It appears the
Stand down
Berkeley isn't
weapons.
the only vessel that's
All
been attacked.
stations, yellow
Other
alert.
ships in that area have been damaged or destroyed. Some survivors have cited the Cardassians or the Romulans as the aggressors. But most, like the Berkeley, were unable to identify their attackers. I received word from the Cardassian government. They have denied responsibility for the attack on Birunu Station. Their reply states House Arterius has severed connections with the government and gone rogue. These reports of Cardassian and Romulan aggressiveness are leading to a diplomatic crisis. We cannot take action against the Cardassians or the Romulans without proof of some kind. It is imperative we know who is responsible for these attacks. From our intelligence, it appears the majority of the attacks have occurred in 3 systems: the Itari system, the Voltaire system, and the Ziontrades system. Patrol these areas thoroughly, Captain, and watch for any aggressors. Keep me informed of your progress. Liu out.
Cancel yellow alert.
Captain? Captain? Thank you, Captain. Your aid in this situation has made all the difference.
So now feeling an awful lot better about ourselves, having taken out 2 Romulan warbirds without really taking a scratch, we are going to head deeper into the mystery of what has happened with these sons and who's behind these attacks. Because you'd have thought someone would have known. And incidentally, why didn't the Romulans scan that wreckage to scan for Federation weapon signatures? Oh well, see you next time.